See, what disturbs us is rarely the event itself, but our thoughts and judgment of that event. And even though it's not the event itself that disturbs us, the disturbance that we feel still has a meaning. And I want you to hear me. Oh, what's this? And even though what disturbs us is rarely the event itself, the disturbance that we feel has a meaning. You can already tell I'm passionate about this. And that's because there was a season in my life where I felt like I was in a good space in my life. And I felt like there was just so much peace and there was nothing crazy that was happening. Everything was just sailing. But I found myself in that moment almost having a feeling of uneasiness. It's almost like a fear. And like this expectation of, oh, how long will this peace last before something fall out of place? And I had to catch myself. But you see, but that right there told me so much about myself. Because I used to be somebody who never believed in trauma. And I used to think when people talk about trauma and all of these things, I used to think that it was just a cop-out. I used to think it was just excuses as people come up with. I know our trauma can actually become an excuse when we don't deal with our traumas. And so we use them as a crutch, instead of realizing that the fact that we are aware of those said trauma means that we are getting a diagnostic evaluation of what the issue really is. And when you can diagnose an issue, when you know what an issue is, then you can begin to work to solve it. We all have traumas. And anybody who thinks that they do not have trauma is somebody who do not realize the effect that their trauma is having on them. See, this is the heart. We live in an imperfect world. Okay, and so many people function based off of their trauma. It just expressed itself in a different way. A person just went through a relationship where they dealt with somebody who was not faithful. And now, when they move on, to them, I don't have any traumatic experience. There is no trauma. I'm over this. But when the next person comes into their life, you see, now they look through the lens of what had happened to them. And yes, sometimes we call it, it's experience. You're dealing with somebody totally different. This is not the person who hurt you. In a way, experience makes sense, right? If you find yourself in that, or at least when it comes to human being, when you find yourself dealing with that person, right? And that's why they say, well, fool me once, shame on you, fool me 2 times. Now it's on me because it's the same person. And I'm not saying that we can't use certain things that we have learned from the past to move on. And now it's like, you want to know where the person is at all times. And you say, well, because it's experience. It happened to me. That is not experience. That's your trauma speaking. That's your trauma showing up now. You're operating from a place of trauma. A trauma that you need to deal with. But that's by the way. Discomfort is something that we run away from. But if you really think about it, you realize that your struggle is not against the discomfort itself, but what you believe it means. And for me, I often translate my discomfort into failure, into weakness, or look at it as a proof that I am not where I need to be. When you pause, when you take a step back, you realize that discomfort is not an enemy. It's a threshold. X mark the spot. It is the raw edge between who you are and who you could become. Discomfort is the raw edge between who I am and who I could become. And I know I'm sounding like this. This is my passion. Okay, this is passion from me coming through that screen. Stay with me, stay with me. And here is the truth. Think about it. When I think about this for myself, everything that I have ever gone through, every shift, every transformation, every growth was born from discomfort. And you know that's true because you can look at your life and you will see that the growth, every elevation that happened in your life, they were born out of discomfort or from discomfort. And yet, even though the growth that I've had and the transformation is, were born out of discomfort, I still find myself holding on to an illusion that discomfort is something that I can avoid or is something that I should run away from. And maybe that's the struggle. Maybe that's the real struggle. Not discomfort itself, but learning to stop running away from it. But I think it's important for us to understand that discomfort is not punishment, but an invitation. Like I said in one of my videos, that anger is not an invitation for us to give into that anger, but an invitation to give attention to why we are angry, to the things that trigger us. And I think that's a fair way as well to look at discomfort. Because you would think that if majority of the growth that we experience, the life transformation that we come to discover, if they are all born out of, from a place of discomfort, you would think that discomfort will be something that we seek. And I know an extreme place of discomfort where people tell you, oh, if nothing good is going with your life, that's because you like comfort. That's not what I'm talking about. Personally, I do not believe that. I do not believe that your life has to be constantly and always a life of discomfort. Life of pain, life of struggle, life of suffering. No, I do not believe that. That's extreme. That's not what I'm talking about. It's the concept and the belief or our approach to how we view discomfort, and also to understand that it is necessary. It's not something that we should run away from. It's something that we should listen to. And to say that what disturbs us is rarely the event itself, but the story that we tell ourselves about it is. This can also be how we suffer more in imagination than we do in reality. Sometimes our mind creates scenarios of potential suffering that are far worse than the actual events. And this leads us to self-inflicted mental anguish that far outweighs the real hardship when it comes in. I mean, have you ever find yourself in one of those situations where it's like, oh, this is about to happen, and you suffer anguish in your head, in your mind, only for it to happen, and you're like, oh. See, we suffer more in our mind than we do. We suffer more in our mind. We suffer more in our imagination than we do sometimes in reality. It's the story that we tell ourselves about things that affect us more than that thing itself. An insult is only a sound until we let it pierce us with meaning. Even pain is only a sensation. Remember what I said? Pain can also be an invitation. But it's only a sensation until the mind adds fear, resistance, or despair. So discomfort is not our enemy. It's our interpretation of it that imprisons us. And when we see this clearly, discomfort loses its power to disturb us. And not just discomfort only, but the word and everything that brings discomfort your way. And this is where we discover a different kind of strength. Serenity. This is where you get a peace that is not based on circumstances, but born out of understanding. Now, am I making sense or am I making sense? Once we learn to pause, to see events as they are, bare, naked, nothing attached to it, then we begin to see that, it's neither a gift nor a curse, at least our discomfort, you see. See, now you can take a step back and you can create space. And because you are able to create your space, in this space lies freedom, the freedom to choose our response, right? Freedom to withhold judgment towards these things, freedom to remain still while the storm rages outside. You say, look, I want you to come to a place of yourself, learning yourself. And I believe that is one of the most difficult things a person can do. So discomfort is not an obstacle, but a teacher. It's an invitation, like I said earlier, an invitation to give attention to the things that are isolated within us. Because growth is not a smooth expansion. It is a breaking and reforming. Every new self is born through some threshold of unease, of discomfort. So discomfort is a sign of becoming. And I'm not saying discomfort is a place where you have to live 24/7. But if you can embrace discomfort and have this different approach and mindset about it, you will see glimpses and experience glimpses and moments of comfort, and comfort here, comfort there, as you embrace your discomfort. Even in your discomfort, you will find comfort along the way because you're not running away from it. You don't look at discomfort as something that you should eliminate or as something that you should dismiss. You're able to pause and take a look at the invitation that your discomfort is sending and accept that invitation to find out, or at least bring yourself to a place where you can allow yourself to expand and feel what the discomfort is trying to tell you. But as you're finding comfort as a result of you embracing discomfort, I think it's important that we also talk about comfort. And there's a different perspective of comfort, or the nature of comfort, that I would like to share with you guys. Comfort feels good. Comfort feels safe. It's a place where nothing hurts, right? It's a place where nothing challenges us. But have you ever noticed that if you stay in comfort long enough, and it will quietly begin to suffocate you? But just as discomfort is not the enemy, okay, comfort is not the enemy as well. Comfort is important. Okay, we need rest. We need warmth. Okay, we need stability. But it's important that you understand that comfort is a shelter. It was never meant to be a home. It's a place of rest where you rest and you continue. And the moment that you choose to live there permanently, comfort begins to change. A shift from safety to stagnation. But ask yourself why. Why is it that when I choose to make comfort a home instead of a shelter? Because you see, a shelter is temporary. A home, that's where you live permanently. Ask yourself, why is it that when I choose to make comfort a home, when I choose to live there permanently, it changes from safety to stagnation? See, but that's because comfort whispers to us. It says, stay here. Don't risk nothing. Don't change. And we listen. You finally got that relationship. Now you've gotten what it is that you want. You stop bringing your best self. You stop improving. You stop growing. You stop doing all of those things that you used to do because it's easier, right? It's comfort. We listen and we obey. Yes, Master. And so we stop questioning, We stop reaching. We stop evolving. And over time, comfort doesn't just protect us. It imprisons us. And once comfort imprisons you, you begin to fear discomfort. Even though discomfort is where growth lives. You see how they all tie together? So the dark side of comfort is that it convinces us that survival is enough, that staying the same is safer than becoming more. But like I said earlier, the truth is that every breakthrough is born in discomfort. Every transformation requires stepping outside of the familiar. Discomfort stretches us, sharpens us, reshaping us into who we are meant to be. None of these things, none of this process is sweet. None of this process is gentle. So remember this. The only path to deeper comfort, peace, fulfillment, and purpose is through the temporary discomfort we resist. And I want you to ask yourself this as well. Have I been living in comfort, or am I trapped by it? Am I truly safe here, or am I suffocating? Because the dark side of comfort is that it feels like life, but it slowly steals life away. And the moment you step into discomfort, you realize that's where you were always meant to be in order to grow. So thank you for watching. I really hope this got you thinking, or in a way, did something to you that only you can feel. You know what I mean? But for real, thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. I know we are growing and I'm so grateful. We finally hit 50 subscribers, 50 family, 50 seekers. 50 seekers of the truth. That's what I'm talking about. I really appreciate every one of you. Thank you so much. Keep doing good with that which you have, and give me a like. Give me a like on this video and share it with somebody who you think this might benefit. Thank you. Until next time.